Hell yeah, motherfuckers. That was Infex right there with Beer Run. Let's call these motherfuckers up right the fuck now and see what the fuck is going on in their world, man.
Hello.
Hello, Jack.
Hey.
You can hear me now.
Fourth time's a charm, right?
Hell yeah, dude. What the fuck is going on, man? You're live right now on the Zach Moonshine Show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, man, not much. Just settling in for a Friday night out here on the West Coast and getting ready for our album release party tomorrow.
Fuck yeah, dude. Did your beer run already?
I did. I was hoping to make it back in time, and I did.
What kind of beer did you go get, man?
Well, I live out kind of in the middle of the woods in kind of rural Sonoma County. And there's a bar across the street from my house. So I went over there and got myself a pint of Bear Republic Racer 5 and a shot of Maker's Mark to have while we chatted.
Nice. All right, man. So tell us, man, what the fuck is going on in the world of Infex? I know you got a big record release tomorrow. Tell us, man, what's been going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, fuck, it's been a crazy 18, 19 months now, right? Like, so, in a way, nothing's been going on. But and also, that gave us a lot of time to kind of put this record together and do a lot more with it than we originally planned on. So, we recorded it last year in 2020 of March and April of 2020, and then we were just going to do a pretty limited release, but COVID hit, and there was, we didn't want to release a record and then not be able to tour on it or anything like that. So we just sat on it and started talking, and we're like, let's press some vinyl. Let's, really go big on all the digital platforms. We got cassettes, we got CDs. So so we got all that. And so with there nothing going on, that shit took a lot of work because we did it all DIY. We don't have a label doing this for us. We did it ourselves, which was a killer, but a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, now we're just hoping, things. It's like, oh, we're opening up. Let's book a tour. Oh shit, Delta variant. Now what? So we're not canceling any plans. We're not changing anything. But it's like, fuck, it's all, everything's kind of a little wonky, right?
Yeah,
so we're just hoping for the best.
It's been a crazy fucking year, man. Lots of metal releases have been coming out because I think a lot of people just buckled down and were like, fuck it, man, we can't do anything else. Let's just write and record and put stuff out and hope for the best. Yeah. And it seemed like things were getting better and things were about to blast wide open, and then all of a sudden now it's like, fuck, man, the whole world is in fucking limbo, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I hope things are different this time around. I don't know, hopefully we've learned some lessons. I'm not a fucking doctor or scientist, so I don't know shit. Don't ask me for any kind of medical advice. But our friends played a show. So the place we're playing tomorrow night, Three Disciples Brewing in Santa Rosa, California. It's a brew pub, killer venue. They played these guys, our homies Laceration, a death metal band out of Santa Rosa. They played their album release there last Saturday. It was the first show back for this venue. They haven't done a show in 18 months, and it was fucking packed. It was crazy packed, and more packed than we've ever seen a metal show there. And most people were wearing masks, and people didn't kind of care, and nobody was harassing anybody about it. So we're hoping it's the same tomorrow. Fucking mask, don't mask, I don't give a shit. Let's just have some fucking metal and beer and pretend like life is good.
Hell yeah! So tell us about this record release party, man. What are you guys doing?
So we're playing this brewery in Santa Rosa. It's kind of been around for a while, but just like a year and a half ago, right before everything closed down, some people approached them and were like, you've got this whole venue here. Like, have you thought about doing metal shows? And they're like, no, but we will. And so various local folks just started, super DIY, like bringing their rehearsal PAs out and setting up and putting on shows. And they saw value in it. And so they built up, they got themselves a killer house system and lights and, a real stage and all that shit. And it's, it's a legit venue now. So, a venue at a brewery, that's what else do you need, right? You got beer and music. So we got just some of our favorite local band friends coming out. These guys in this band, Incredulous, that are out of Sonoma County as well. Young guys, they're like tech thrash, kind of like Vector, those kind, really complicated. I mean, they're just fucking crazy. They blow me away with just like their riffs and shit. And then a killer like Viking death metal band called Arm the Valkyrie is playing, and then some black and death metal friends of ours from up in Mendocino County, where most of the weed from California comes from, Goreskin Coffin, are playing with us. And so it's just going to be a cool party, lots of good music. We got our record CDs, LPs, and cassettes. We're going to be doing some silly contests for merch giveaways and shit like that. I'm just hoping everybody has a good time and kind of rages and get some good pit action going, and just want everybody to have a good time.
Hell yeah, man.
We've all been we've been billing this as the Breaking Quarantine show. So breaking quarantine before quarantine 2, I guess. Or we don't know what it's going to be now, but we're hoping that people are still not too scared to come out. And seems like we've been hitting the local shows and people seem excited, so we are.
Well, beer,
regardless,
weed, and metal,
regardless,
dude.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, you got beer, weed, and metal, dude. Like, what else could you fucking need, man? Like that. That's
right.
That's a recipe for fucking a good time, man.
Exactly. And here, I don't know, like about where like all your listeners are from and stuff, but like it's pretty much legal out here, and you can pretty much just smoke right outside where everybody smokes cigarettes. It's like you go to the smoking section and it's more weed than tobacco anymore. So, people are just lighting up and smoking J's and drinking some beer. Yeah.
Man, I think it's legal just about everywhere except for where I'm fucking at, man.
Where are you at again?
I'm in Tennessee, man.
Oh, yeah. That's rough out there.
I was in Arizona for a long time, and then I moved down here, and like right after I moved out of Arizona, they fucking legalized the shit, man. I'm like, you motherfuckers, man.
Of course.
So I don't know. Hopefully Tennessee will get on the fucking bandwagon with everybody else and do it too, man. I don't know. They'll probably be the last motherfuckers.
I think it's just a long enough timeline. I think the dinosaurs are dying off. The fucking old politicians that are stuck in their ways, and the boomers, like they're fucking dying and realizing, the new generation is coming in, and like, dude, we don't care about that shit. Like, weed is way less harmful than alcohol, so what's the problem?
Yeah.
When you decriminalize it, then it makes it even less harmful. So yeah.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens.
And I keep hoping, I'm like, eventually they're gonna see the money that is to be made in this, because that's what it all boils down to, is money.
Right. Well, right. Once R.J. Reynolds or whoever it is, starts dipping their toes in, I'm sure they have. That's when it, once it becomes a political lobby, then it'll get blown wide open.
So tell us, man, for people out there who've never seen you guys live, what can they expect at a live show of Infex?
Oh, man, you could expect to see 4 old dudes sweating their asses off playing music way faster than they're capable of.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean, we don't, we're not like too into theatrics. We're doing a couple things for this show tomorrow, and we've started dabbling into, sampling, like not sampling in our music, but like, having audio clips between songs and shit like that, and like making more of a show out of it, like where like, the audio that we play is relevant to either the song we're playing or the political environment we're currently living in or whatever, and just giving, just kind of, I've just as a fan of music over the years, I've seen that kind of stuff just helps to kind of like get people engaged and excited about stuff, right? So we're just, we want to put on a good show. We don't want to just be four dudes standing there like, banging our heads, and screaming into a microphone. You know what I mean? Like we want to make it a performance, but not like in the vein of Slipknot or whatever. We're not going to put on well, I guess we might have to wear masks, but not those kind of masks. We just want to have a good time. Like we're all into like fucking stage diving and crowd surfing and everybody having a good time and fun in the pit type of a thing. So anything we can do to like sort of encourage that behavior is sort of what you can expect at one of our gigs.
Oh yeah. Now the album art for this record, man, because this is some really, really cool album art, and it's what grabbed my attention right off the bat. It reminds me of like when I was a kid at the record store flipping through the fucking records, and you just see something that caught your eye. You're like, oh, this has to be badass. When I saw it in my email inbox, I guess the inbox is like the new fucking scrolling through the fucking record store.
Right.
When I saw
yeah.
Clawhammer sent it over to me, and I was like, man, this is fucking badass, dude. What the fuck is this? But tell us about the album art, man. How did you guys, was there a story behind it?
Yeah, so, I mean, what you said exactly was part of what we really wanted to go for, like that whole flipping through records or CD bins or whatever and getting grabbed by the artwork. Because that's the same, like, I sense you're an older dude, too. And that was how I discovered most of the shit I'm into now when I was a kid. And so we really wanted to, like, embrace that. Our earlier releases had more of, like, a crust punk type, ethic theme to it, where it's, like, kind of dirty, scratchy drawing. And we kind of wanted to take it up a notch and, like, like these big, bold colors and, like killer imagery. And, the artist, we've been working with the same artist, Andrej Bartolovic, out of Croatia for 10 years. And we just talked with him about it. And, we didn't really have a complete concept in mind, but that's where a good artist comes in. And we just started talking about the music and some of the song themes and stuff. And then, came up with the concept for the Burning In Exile, which, for those of you that haven't seen it yet on the cover, it's basically a weird hybrid of a demon and an angel. It's like a duality theme. So it's this creature that on one half of it, it's angelic wings and hair, and on the other half, it's like demon wings, and but it's burning in chaos. And that was kind of the whole like concept behind it all, is like this chaos, this limbo that we've all been living in, this exile. Is this good? Is this bad? Are we good? Are we bad? Like it just, this whole duality concept is what really drove it. And as he kind of came up with the artwork and was sending us the examples, we just were like, fuck, this is killer. And that actually even helped us decide full blown, like, all right, we're pressing 12-inch LPs. I want a full blown record in my hands with this artwork on it, and the liner notes on the inside and the lyrics and all that kind of stuff, because like I really miss those. I mean, I love digital music, I love streaming, I love all that, but I really like connecting with things, and particularly I have a really, it's a modest record collection of a lot of old punk and metal. And I'm not spinning records every day, but like on a Friday night when I'm just kicking it at home and I want to listen to music, I'll put on records.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about what you're going to hear every 15 minutes and make a deliberate choice to put on another record and figure out what it is. And then B, when you take it out, you like kind of relive it. You look at the artwork and you look at the cover and, oh yeah, it's, Leopard Messiah skips at 2 minutes in. God damn it, or whatever. But I mean, that was really what drove it, and once we started seeing the concept art, we were just kind of blown away and like, dude, this is our, so in so many aspects, just the artwork, the music, everything, it's all of it is just an ode to like the 2.5 decades or 3 decades, even more really, but of heavy music that has inspired us and, everybody along the way. And we just wanted to be part of that in the Dan Seagrave school of art, album artwork, all the old Sepultura album covers and stuff like that, and Obituary and all that. We wanted something like that, and we couldn't afford Dune, so.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, and vinyl definitely has its own sound to it, man. Like there's, especially after so many years of just listening to MP3s and CDs and the digital, when you listen to a record on a good stereo, man, there's nothing like it, man. I mean, even with the pops and the cracks, like I actually like that stuff. I like hearing the little fucking things, but like you can pick apart the instruments and you can really hear. It feels like you're in the room with the band watching them play.
I 100% agree with you, man. Like I know a lot of people don't think that that's the case and disagree. And I mean, I was there when I was buying heavy metal albums when the transition to compact disc happened. You know what I mean? And like, even at that time, I mean, the format was smaller and easier to manage and less expensive. But I tell you, man, there's something. I'm not an audiophile. I'm not an engineer. I can't tell you what, but there's something about the tactile sound of a record that you just don't get on a CD or a streaming an album stream. There's a warmth to it and just a resonance. It's mechanical, and I feel like some core of our body, maybe not even the ears, picks up that mechanical resonance, and I think it adds to the experience myself personally.
Yeah,
but who knows? I could be full of shit.
No, it definitely does. Like, I mean, I was already used to the sound of like older bands, older releases, like Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, stuff like that. I've got the old records. I'm already used to the way those sound on vinyl, but newer stuff, like I was in a record store and I found a used copy of 6 Feet Under's 13, and I bought that and I brought it home, and I was already used to hearing it on CD, but I'd never heard it on vinyl. When I put it on the fucking record player and blasted it, I never heard the fucking guitars and shit sound like that, man. Like, it really sounded like I was standing right in front of the amps. You could hear every little pick, scratch, and everything. I'm like, fuck, this is...
Yep.
Yeah, man. After that, I was sold. I was like, man, I got to get everything now on fucking vinyl.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I know it's not for everybody, and some people don't think, and that's fine. That's why we release it on cassette and compact disc too. But vinyl's been kind of back in fashion for 5-6 years now, longer than that really, but in the mainstream. And I've been a fan all along, and in this day and age, it's really hard to financially support a band, right? Like, you're streaming their music, they're not really getting much money unless they come to your town and play, and then you buy merch or something directly from them. They're not really seeing any money from your fandom unless you can, buy a record or buy a compact disc or buy a T-shirt. I mean, so I try to, I'm a Spotify listener. I subscribe to it. I listen to it all every day.
Yeah.
But when I find something I like, I seek out, like, how can I purchase from them?
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not made of money and I'm not buying records every week, but I do what I can. I do what I can. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like really against the whole fucking Spotify thing, and I get it to a certain degree, but at the same time, man, I listen to it all the time, and I find different bands on there that I maybe would have never listened to before because they just pop up in a playlist or something, and I hear it, and I'm like, fuck, and I go home and I look it up, and I end up buying a record from them, and then it's like, hey, man, it worked.
Totally.
It's good for advertising.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. Yeah, and it's like $9 a month. That's less than one CD a month, right? And
right.
Again, I wish they paid artists more. And there's been talk about some legislation happening. I mean, who knows? That'll probably just anything significant happens will probably just make them shut down. But then somebody else will take over. But I try not to be cynical about it and be like, yes, I use it to discover new bands that I support monetarily. Or old bands too. I mean, I just bought the Black Sabbath Sabotage reissue box set, which was fucking expensive, but it's a fucking killer box set with so much shit in it, and it just sounds so good. Like, you mentioned Black Sabbath. I've been a fucking Sabbath fan since I was 12, so.
Dude, that is...
And that's a long time now.
That's definitely my favorite Sabbath record right there too, man. I love that fucking album, man.
Yep. Symptom of the Universe.
Yes.
Hole in the Sky. I mean, it's just got...
Megalomaniac.
I mean, that's like the first thrash song ever, Symptom of the Universe. Like, yeah. Good shit, man.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, so tell us about Infex, man. The name itself, how did you guys come up with that? Is there a story behind it?
Yeah, sort of. It was a long time ago now. Me and my buddy Phil, who is no longer in the band, him and I started this project in 2010. And we didn't even think we were starting a band, really. Like, we were older dudes, and we both were, like, guitar players and into metal. And as you get older, it's like, your friends kind of die off, literally and figuratively. I mean, more like, I'm sure you can relate. As you get older, your friends kind of like they get married and have kids and get into their careers, and metal is not like really central to their lives anymore or whatever. In some cultures we call that posers, but so when you connect with somebody like that, you're like, hey, cool, man, like right on. And so I met this cat Phil, and we were both into a lot of the same like old school thrash and death metal. He was he still is, he's really into vintage BC Rich guitars, which, come on, I mean, what's more thrash than that?
Oh, yeah.
And we just kind of bonded over that stuff, and I happened to live in a place where I had a little extra room for like a jam space, and we would just hang out on like Saturdays and drink a couple beers, and, some days we would play music, and some days we would just listen to music. And it started to like become like we should do something, man. Like, this is pretty cool. And so we decided to start thinking about if we were going to start a band, what would we call it? And that's like, I don't know how many people have been through that, but like trying to fucking figure out a name for a band is like the hardest fucking thing in the world. Like, I mean, it's not, but you get so hypercritical of your ideas, and, like there's all the, we butter our bread with butter, and these bands, the verb to the noun or whatever. So we were just kicking shit around, and I mean, I'm just gonna say it, I hate to admit it, but I was a big fan of kind of a power violence band in the late 80s and early 90s called Infest, and I always really liked just the simplicity of the name, and like it's like 2 syllables, very 5 letters, easy to make a logo, short, and I don't know, I was probably like mowing my lawn or whatever, and it just like Infex came into my head. I'm like, Infex, infected, let's infect you, or whatever, and then just pitched that idea to Phil, and he was like, dude, that's fucking killer. And so then we did the stupid thing where we're like hand drawing logos and sending them to each other with our cell phone text, like, what do you think of this, what do you think of that? And it just kind of stuck around, and that became our name.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's quick. It's easy to remember. It's one word, 2 syllables. Like it's, yeah, man. Like the old school. Like
you could chant it very well. Like
right.
Once we're a giant arena band, which we'll never be. It's got that Infex, Slayer.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to like bang your fist to it. And that was kind of. Really, I mean, I hate to admit it, but something we talked about that we weren't, it's got to be just like this anthemic, chantable thing,
Yeah. Well, hey, man, that's important, dude. Like, if you can visualize that, and then fucking make it happen, man, that's the shit, dude.
Yeah. How do you get several hundred people to chant, bring me the horizon,
right.
Bring me the... I mean, I've never heard that band, but like I always like to make fun of the name because it's so fucking long.
I know.
I mean, they're laughing from their mansions, in my opinion, but like, it's all part of the greater metal aesthetic, in my opinion.
Oh, I know, man. Some of these bands nowadays, dude, it's like a whole fucking sentence, man. It's like, come on, man. But
right. And, whatever. It's cool. If they like it and their fans like it, cool.
Yeah, if it works, it works. But, yeah, man, the simpler, sometimes the simpler, the better. All right, man. I got some questions for you coming in from the listeners, man. Lady Red wants to know...
Sure.
How many instruments can you play?
Lady Red. I think I know Lady Red. How many instruments can I play? Well, I have like 9 guitars, and I can play all of them, kind of. I mean, yeah, okay, if you really want to hear dorkiness, when I was a kid in elementary school band, I played the clarinet. I could probably play a couple notes on it now. And of course, leave it to my parents and me, like, oh, the clarinet, it's like the saxophone, but dumber, like, why couldn't I have a sax? But I got the fucking clarinet, So I played that as a kid, a little bit of piano. I can play chopsticks anymore and maybe a few other things. And then guitar, that's kind of it, I've always been a pretty mechanical, task-driven musician, like, what do I need to be able to do for this band or this project? And I stick to that.
Oh, yeah. She also wants to know, have you ever been in any other bands?
Yeah. I had a pretty long sabbatical, but when I was much younger, I was in a band based out of Southern California we had a couple different names, but the name that we, put out the most stuff on was Morbid Truth was the name of our band. We were young. We never really did too much. We signed a tiny record deal with a tiny, shitty label that just was a big mistake all around. But we had a good time as young kids. We played some killer shows, played with some bigger bands, nothing crazy, but like MDC, the Adolescents, shit like that, more like Southern California punk bands.
Hell yeah. All right, next question. Vicky wants to know, what do you prefer, bubble baths or blood showers?
Blood showers, of course. There's only one right answer for a metalhead, right? Although I do have an 8-year-old daughter, and she prefers bubble baths. So there are equal amounts of blood showers and bubble baths in this house.
There you go. Next question. Ashley wants to know, when you're on stage, boxers, briefs, or commando?
Pretty much commando, because, if you're on tour, you don't have a lot of changes of clothes. You basically have your gig clothes and then your day clothes. And, when it's time to play, you strip your day clothes, put on your gig clothes, play, and then go get them off. So, commando, generally.
Oh, yeah. Another question, any haunted venues that you've been to?
Oh, I have no idea. I'd like to say I'd love to have a great metal story, but I can't think of any. Not that I know of.
All right. Next question, do you have any crazy backstage experiences or stories to tell?
Crazy. Wow, the always wondered about backstage. Dude, backstage is not what people think it is. It's so not fucking interesting
it's
anymore.
Not the 80s
anyway.
anymore,
not in my lifetime. But I mean, no, like I got my favorite backstage story though, actually. So it's not always totally boring. It's just not the sex, drugs, and rock and roll that we grew up thinking it was, at least anymore. But last year, literally right before coronavirus and lockdown and all that shit, me and my buddy Adam, who's our lead guitar player, we're friends with this guy Claudius and Jeff Becerra of Possessed. And they were opening up for Mr. Bungle did a string of like 5 or 6 shows like in New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And Possessed opened up the San Francisco show at the Warfield, this world famous, this fucking killer theater. I mean, the place is amazing. And so we actually provided all the guitar and bass backline for Possessed for that show. And in exchange for that, we got to be like their roadies and get all access passes and hang out for the whole show, which was killer. But the most amazing thing about that was like, because it was Mr. Bungle and this kind of comeback, show, Mike Patton, of course, who's fucking crazy. Just the amount of people that showed up, famous people, and hung out in the green room, which is actually downstairs at the Warfield. It's not really backstage, it's downstairs. But so I got to meet and talk to fucking like Jello Biafra, King Buzzo from the Melvins, Scott Ian from Anthrax was playing in the band. I didn't really chat with them. They were, all the guys that were playing were more kind of not standoffish at all, but like they're busy, they're working, you know what I mean? So, but like, yeah, I mean, meeting Jello Biafra and chatting with him was probably one of the coolest things, as well as King Buzzo. There was just a bunch of other fucking crazy cool people that I can't even, I'm on the spot, I can't remember names, but those two were the standouts. And it was really funny because my friend Amy was like, "Oh my God, look, there's Jello Biafra," and I'm like, "Totally." And she goes up and she's like, "Jello, can I take a selfie with you?" And he starts counting. He goes, 10, 9, 8, 7. You better hurry. 6, 5, 4. And she's like, "Oh shit!" And like took the selfie with him. I thought that was really funny. Nice. And then because I was standing there, I was like, "Hey, Jello, I don't want to bother you." He's like, "Yes, here you are." Kind of like a sarcastic dick. But I actually had a connection with him through a San Francisco filmmaker that we both mutually knew, and I kind of just asked him about her, and he perked up and was like, "Oh yeah, she passed away a couple years ago of cancer." But it like started like this whole conversation I had with him, which I thought was really cool, and he was just the nicest fucking guy. So that's probably my favorite and coolest and only good backstage story.
The Warfield, is that the same place where Slayer did that DVD?
Yes, the Warfield, the very same.
Nice.
I've seen so many crazy shows there, man. So many, like, I can't even, that place is just historically epic.
Hell yeah, man. All right, next question. Vicky wants to know, sausages or pies?
This is one of those entendre questions, right? Like, I got to get the answer right here. I mean, because, I would say sausages, because who doesn't like a good sausage? But if Vicky's asking what I think, then I'm going to have to go with pies.
There you go. Ashley wants to know, blondes, redheads, or brunettes?
I like them all. I'm not a picky man. I've been married to a redhead. I've dated I've dated the gamut. I love women, and I don't have a preset set of standards or anything that they need to fulfill. They just have to like me.
Hell yeah.
Like if a woman is crazy enough to be interested in me and like me and want to talk to me, then she must, be my kind of fucked up. So
there you go, man. Next question. Have you ever played in Canada, or do you want to?
Never played in Canada. Would fucking love to. Would kill to be able to. And, we're hoping, who knows with this year coming up, but it's on our bucket list. We've never played out of the United States, so.
Oh, yeah. Next question, Leandro wants to know, if you were in Barcelona, did you take a leap to Portugal? I don't know what the fuck that means.
If I was in Barcelona, would I take the leap to Portugal?
Yeah.
That sounds like a geography question where, like, I don't know. I don't think Portugal borders Barcelona. Spain. There's got to be something. There's got to be a joke that I'm missing in there. Sure, why not? Is my answer.
Oh yeah. All right, man. So what's coming up next for Infex, man?
So we got this show. Tomorrow night is our album kickoff, and then we have a tour booked in October for like Midwest tour. I think we've got about 10 dates booked, culminating in the Blades of Steel Metal Fest in Milwaukee on October 9th, I believe, playing with like Vicious Rumors, Morbid Saint, I want to say, Defiance, a bunch of killer bands.
Nice.
We're hitting like Reno, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, Colorado. Like we're basically going out to 80 and hitting all the major spots along Highway 80, and then picking up a few pickup gigs on the way back. But that's all we have working right now, to my knowledge. I think probably some local shows beyond that, but probably no more tour bookings or anything like that until we know what's happening with COVID and in 2022. But we're hoping we get enough momentum off this record to like do some more, get on the road in next spring, and hit your neck of the woods, the South, and the Southwest.
Oh yeah.
I think we have talk. One of the legacy bands we've toured with before, we've been talking to them. Nothing's written in stone. I'm not going to say the name or anything, but anybody that knows us or knows knows who we're talking about knows. We're supposed to maybe do a leg of their 40th anniversary tour, but it's not set in stone yet, but we're hoping that happens. But other than that, like, call us. Give us a basement to play in and some beer and a place to crash, and we'll come play your house.
Well, I know Vicious Rumors, man. I bet that'll be fucking cool, man. Fucking Gunnar DeGray's cool dude, man. Fucking friends with him.
Yeah.
But,
Actually, you know, I will take that back. So we're playing this show tomorrow night, and then next weekend there's this in Northern California. There's this DIY metal fest that's been running about 10 years now, called the Redwood Metal Fest, and it's not a huge festival by any stretch of the imagination, but it's come a long way. Like, it's come a long way since we played the first ever one, and we played a couple others along the way. We're not playing that specifically. Vicious Rumors is headlining that, along with Mordred is playing as well. But we are actually playing an after party of that festival with Ex Mortis at the Ukiah Brewing Company. So that should be pretty cool. Yeah, so we got that going on.
Redwood, man. That like Sons of Anarchy, fucking Redwood.
I mean, you know, that's loosely where the show was. The fake bike club in the show was sort of out of. That's where we live, Northern California.
Yeah, I gotta ask, man, is it really like that there?
No. I mean, no, not at all. I mean, there is I do ride a motorcycle, and there is a local Hells Angels chapter in Santa Rosa, Sonoma County, and I've been to parties at their clubhouse, and bikers from around the state, at least at the party I went to, it wasn't anything crazy, but like there was a bunch of boxing going on, and bikers from all over, like old Booze Fighters guys and Winos Crew and Henchmen, and just biker clubs that I've never heard of because I don't know biker clubs. But everybody was so fucking cool and nice, and it wasn't hectic, and there was nobody got murdered in the parking lot. There were no gunfights. I was disappointed,
Oh man!
But I'm sure that shit happened somewhere, but I don't think it happened around.
Man, I fucking love that show, dude. Me and my wife, we were watching that shit.
I did too, actually.
and like, I remember like when the show first started, we were watching it. We're like, yeah, we need to get bikes and fucking go do this and that. And then like halfway through it, towards the end, it's like, oh, maybe not. Maybe maybe
we shouldn't do that. Yeah, it was funny. Like watching it, I'm like, oh, it's about this biker club, and it's like they're like the worst biker club ever. Everything they do goes wrong.
It was horrible.
Every deal goes south. Every fucking thing they try to do ends up getting fucked up, and they all die. So, I don't know, man. Maybe that's the lesson we're supposed to learn from the show. Stay in school. Don't do drugs.
There you go, kids. All right, man. Well, I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to let the people know?
Check us out we're on all the streaming platforms. I mean, I would say like us on Spotify and add us to your playlist, because as much as we, don't like it, Spotify really does a lot for artists, more so than just paying them. I mean, from exposure. So find our new album, Burning In Exile, on Spotify or iTunes or Amazon. It's on all the platforms. And you can hit us up at infex.bandcamp.com and buy some merch or a record or a CD or tape directly from us. That really helps us out. That is 100% our business. And other than that, just stay safe and stay metal.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, before I let you go, I got to get you to make us a station tag, all right?
You got it.
All right, whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Infex, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
All right, here we go. In 4, 3, 2. This is Jack from Infex, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah, dude.
How was that?
Perfect, man. Perfect. All right, brother.
Cool. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, man.
Hey, man, anytime, dude. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to blast some more Infex for these motherfuckers so they can go nuts, all right?
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. You have a great night.
You too, brother. We'll talk to you later, man. Cheers.
Later.
There you have it, folks. Infex live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your fucking windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your neighbor's driveway, Put them everywhere. If you're in the basement, tape them to the fucking ceiling. Make motherfuckers hear this shit, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you're not fucking cranking it up fucking loud enough. This is Infex on the Zach Moonshine Show. Crank it up.